welcome to part 5 of the RLD Getting Started tutorials. This video is going to be going over how to create a form or an app that you can run on your phone to collect data and make things happen inside of your RLD project remotely. So to get started, we're going to do the left here and we're going to click on Input Forms and click Manage. As we add input forms to a project, they will show up here, and we're going to get started by clicking Add a New Input Form and clicking to edit it. You'll notice that we have a phone outline here letting us know where our elements are going to show up when someone loads up the app on their phone. We can change this layout to be many different things, including iPads or laptops, but for now, we're going to stick with a phone. There are many things you can do with this, and we're going to put out a more comprehensive video, but for now, I'm going to give you a small example of what can be done. So first, you can imagine we can put some text around that will kind of tell users what is going on. For example, I might put in a enter name text, telling somebody or prompting them to put in data. I'll change it off of bold, and I'll go ahead and change the color to a dark black. All right. I'll change the size of it a little bit, and now I would like to put in an input that allows them to input their name. So I'll go ahead and go to typed input fields, I'll put text, I'll drag this over here, make it a little bit bigger, and make it take up the whole area here. All right, now if we click on this preview button up top, we'll see that it shows me what it might look like if someone was using this app on their phone, and I'm able to click on the enter name input field, and I can enter a name such as Jacob, and we'll see that it actually edits that field. But there's a whole lot more to go before this is really usable. So let's go add a couple more things. For example, let's go put in a number input. So we'll prompt the user again to, instead of enter a name, we'll say enter a number. And instead of having a text input, we'll grab this number input here. We'll put this right on the other side and size it to be about the same as the input above. And now if we go back to preview, I can click here and I can type in numbers. I can even go up or down, and this will look very similar on a phone. And there's a lot more that can get done with this. For example, we could have someone select a choice using a checkbox, where we can give them multiple different options at once and even prompt them to click it. So instead of saying enter number, it could say select option. We could also have a radio, which is like a checkbox, but you're only allowed to make a single selection at a time. Again, you can prompt them here as well. Select an option. We also have the ability to do drop downs, to do toggles. We also have the ability for people to do things like sliders, so where you can generally select a number. And we'll even say slide to correct number. Again, prompting the user to do something with this input, and we even have lots of options for every single one of the elements on this page. For example, on this one, I could change it to have a max value of 10, and I could have it start at 5 instead of 60. And if I go back to the preview, we're going to notice that all of these options exist. I can input numbers, I can input a name, I can select options, and I can even slide the slider to any number between 0 and 10. Now, two more things have to be done. First, we need to notice over here that as we're doing things in the form, RLD keeps track of the entire experience for you, so that way later on you can kind of figure out how people are using this. You can keep track of the time that things happen inside of the app. We even have this panel that shows you what data is going to get submitted if you click this Save to Dataset button. But there's also another way to make data go into the database, and that's putting a button that submits the data right on your form. So let's go back to Edit, and let's go scroll down to buttons. And I'm going to click this square button right here. I'm going to size it to be a little bit bigger, and I'm going to make it say Submit instead of Label. I'm going to put this down in the bottom corner here, and I'm going to click on Button Extra Actions. I'm going to tell it to submit and reset the whole form back to its default values. So once a user is done, they can click this button and it will not only send all that data into our RLD database, but it will also reset the whole form. And if we go to preview, we'll notice that that button is here now. And if I enter in some values and I click submit, it'll ask me, hey, do you really want to submit this data? Because we're in preview, it wants to prevent you from putting in data when you're just attempting to test things out. So I'm going to click cancel and I'm going to go back to edit because we have one more step to do before we start putting data in. And that's giving every single one of these fields a name. And this name is going to show up across the entire RLD project as we've seen in prior parts, just like our inputs from our IoT device do. So for example, I'm going to have this one be person's name. The next one might be number field. I could put options 1, and so on and so forth for all the things in here, even including our button, which will account for the time that people are clicking on the button as well, and that will be viewable inside of our RLD project. And if I go back to preview, I can enter in my name, I can enter in a number, I can select all the options I need on this form, click submit, and click confirm, and you'll notice it resets all of this, and that's all been put into the data set. Feel free to check your data set right now if you want to make sure that that data got in there. But more importantly, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put up on the screen a recording of my phone. And this is going to be a recording that shows you how to get this app on your phone. So I'm going to go to the RLD1 website, as you can see down there, and I'm going to click on that menu at the top right. And we're going to see that it shows input app and viewer app. This is an input form, so we're going to click on the input app, and you'll notice it gives me options: download on Google or download on the Play Store. So I'm going to click get it on Google, and we'll notice that I actually already have it installed. So once it is installed, go ahead, open it up, and make sure you log in with your correct account. Once you've logged in with that account, it'll bring you to this page where it shows you all of the apps and forms that are available to you. As you can see, I've worked on a couple different ones here before, but I'm going to click the new input form that we just created. And that's simple. I already have all of this on my phone. As you can see, I can enter in numbers, I can select options, work with the slider, and then finally click that submit button, and all that data goes right into my project. With RLD, it really is that simple to get an app on your phone and to start using forms and building forms that run on mobile, tablet, and laptop to get this data into your system alongside all of your IoT data.